African political activist Malema is in the country. He had some very interesting things to say about our country and our president. With me in the studio, I have Pastor David Wamathu kama kawaida. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Fred.
And I also have Willis Koyi, who's a political analyst. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Fred.
Let me start off with something that probably could have shocked quite a number of people. But you guys had called it the last time we were here. Mwangaza.
Yes.
The governor, Meru, the impeachment. I mean, it just fell flat on its face.
Yes.
You guys had seen this. The last time we talked about it, you guys called it.
Mm-hmm. You know, my friend, one thing that I said the other time I was here, and I'll repeat it today, is that justice has no shortcut. At the end of the day, justice will have to prevail. Whatever you deserve is what you get. Mm-hmm. There's no way, there's no two ways about it. And what was interesting was how the senators brought out the Meru MCS. Yes. You know, growing up in the Eastlands, there's this slang that they used to say, stories are Jaba. And the fact that Jaba is being produced largely in Meru, yes, maybe the MCS have consumed it a lot to a point now they don't have even substantial allegations to accuse the governor to be withdrawn from the office. And it's good that justice happened, and it's clearly very well. And we also want to make it be known to Kenyans that the allegations, I saw the videos that were played there in the Senate, there are some...
After some time, actually, when they were being rated as the best performing county, it was actually Makueni, even after all those kind of things. Let me tell you, the whole of what we saw and these impeachment issues, it is actually a political issue. There has nothing been, really, if you go to many counties, some of these things they are mentioning here, they are still alive in many counties, not even in the counties, in the national government, they are alive. There are things which are being done every day. But you see, for Meru, there is a lot of push. And I can tell you the reason as to why you are saying this kind of impeachment.
Yes.
One, it is because the people who were actually supposed to be governors, yes, and they were mighty men, yes, you see, they are mighty men, yes, they were fraud by a woman. And I can say it authoritatively, yes, that one of the things, look at the person who was there before as the governor, yes, Keretu Murungi, yes, a strong man, having a lot of money and many other things, and networks and many other things. Yes. There was also another gentleman who is the CS for agriculture. Yes. This gentleman also, he was actually a strong man. But how this woman emerged to bring down, to conquer all this, yes, they have not actually come to a realization. They are still feeling.
All this emanates from the people who believed they had the say, and they are the ones who should be making the calls in Meru County. Correct. But were flawed. Correct. And so now they are trying to regain their position.
Yes. Yes, that is what they are trying to do. Actually, what they are trying to do right now, it is not more in serving the Marian people. It is actually more on strategizing on 2027, yes, which is quite a bad thing.
Strategizing on 2027?
Yeah.
We've seen, even from the videos that were given as evidences in the Senate, yes, we've seen them administering oath for deputy governor to take over from the governor. Yet, the governor is still in his position rightfully, correct, which he was voted in. It is just the fact that they have refused to agree and accept the fact that they were defeated by a woman, correct, who can run a county. Sure. That is what most Meru male politicians have refused to accept.
That they were beaten by a woman.
Yes, sure. And they're not trying to threaten.
Are you saying that, okay, I know the Senate said, yes, you know, basically trashed everything that was put on the table by the MCS. Yes. You're saying there was absolutely no grounds. It's only because that this lady is, Mwangaza is a lady, that's the reason why she was being fought?
Let me tell you one thing. Oh, sorry, yes, you can get
Allow me to say that as the Senate, maybe they refused to put it, but basically, those were stories Ajaba. Yes, there was no any ground committed and linked to any of them.
Well,
truth will always be truth.
Yes, let me just add to what Willis is saying. One, if miss. It was actually a shame for top lawyers to go and give misleading information, actually in such kind of, in a Senate.
Yes.
And they are actually telling people who actually have dealt with IFMIS things which are not true. And this is some of the things that really made even the senators see that these guys are just creating things. Because the reports which comes from IFMIS, which were supposed to prove that she has done wrong, actually they were not presented. And they had the ability actually to go even to the government and ask for the pure reports, which would be able to indicate this is where the monies has been embezzled. But they were unable because they were using fake documents, things which cannot be there. Let me say one thing. If you look at the thing, there was also something which was actually outlined. For example, the road or the street to be named after the husband.
Yes.
It is something that you fight. You would say here there is nothing to really talk about. See, it has been put, when you go to Nairobi,
yes.
If it is the Kenyatta, Harambee Avenue or something like that.
Yes.
So you always see something which is saying this is Harambee Avenue.
Yes.
So that one, even if we actually keep on talking about and fighting, we already know it is Harambee Avenue.
Yes.
If now the road has been named after the husband, it is nothing really to say that it has not been named, because maybe it has been put, this is the Mwagaza Road or something like that.
There should have been a sign showing the road has been changed.
Correct. But how can the senators actually trash it and say this is rubbish? It is because it is political thing. Can I tell you, what we are seeing in Meru is nothing new. It is people who are not interested with Meru people, and they are serving their own interest. And I can tell you, one of the things why I'm telling you they are serving their own interest. Who is the spokesman for Meru right now? It is Lintuli.
Yes.
Who was in Lintuli there before? Isn't it one of the man who wanted to be in the governor? Who was fighting to be the governor?
Yes.
Before Lintuli, who was there as the spokesman for Meru? It was Keraito.
Yes.
Do you know this thing? It is actually the woman being fought in terms of the person who is there, because they are asking themselves a question. Where did this woman come from? She was only just a woman lep.
Yes.
But she actually now gets from a woman lep, she gets to the position of a governor. And they are actually feeling, how did we lose these things? When we have all the machineries, when we were in a party which is strong. Actually, do you know, like the KK was a very strong thing.
Yes, it was.
But can you imagine this woman getting into power on independent ticket? So it is actually something that has really made this guy to get confused. They are still asking themselves, how did this woman get into power?
I heard the senators say that if this continues, then Meru County will be a very good example, basically of a county that should be taken over.
Correct.
Whereby you suspend the county government, you send them back to the elections.
And it will happen. Can I tell you?
County assembly.
You send everybody back to the people.
It will happen. Let me tell you. That is one of the heavy decisions that the senators were about to make. Even this particular time.
Yes.
And actually we are sounding a warning to the MCAs. They will go home. Actually they think it is Kawira who will go home. But I can tell you, the next time they are taking impeachment, and we are not, we predicted things happen. But I can tell you, the next time they are going to take a motion of impeachment, what they will be fighting about is not Kawira not being the governor. It is actually the section, the article 192 is going to take effect, whereby all of them will be told, go home, ask for votes again. And many of them will lose, because there are very few people who are driving these things, men who have money. And they are actually trying to do whatever they can say. But what we are seeing is not the Marian people. It is actually some few leaders who are pushing their agendas. And that's why we say Bad politics is not good. Because why delay the development in Meru? Because of personal interest. Because this is what is happening. It is people who are looking for positions. And that's what they are doing. But I can tell you, if the Meru, the MCAs are not going to be wise about these things, the next time they will not survive.
How is she going to lead now? Because I'm seeing an entire county assembly that is against you, and you need the county assembly to pass your budget. I don't even think her budget has been passed. You need the county assembly to pass the budget. How do you operate in such a situation?
Let me tell you something. Always in our country, the power belongs to the people. Whether politics or genuine love from Meru, after the Senate trashed whatever the MCAs the impeachment motion, you saw the celebrations that was there in Meru from the people themselves. Whether it was politics, if it was politics, then that one means she's a good politician. She can mobilize well, and she has that power. And if it's genuine, you also see the happiness that people have and the trust they have in their governor. So this thing that is going to happen over and over again, and even I followed keenly the impeachment motion in the Senate, and everything you find that even most of the MCAs who voted for this impeachment, it was as a matter of others were threatened, others were bribed, and it came out clearly from the videos that were played there and the evidences that were there. So you find even the MCAs, they are in their worrying state now, that what will happen to them. The fact that they're being threatened with the traditions, I saw the oath that were being threatened by the Cheke elders. You see, and these are some of the things that, in as much as we are trying to avoid everything improvised politics and all that, we are Africans. We cannot run away from the fact that we are Africans and we have our traditions. And other things might be used for personal interest that may destroy the entire community if they are not careful. So this is a matter that they need to sit down as a county assembly, get their house in order, and they work for the best interest of the Ameru people. Because at the end of the day, the same people that elected Governor Mwangaza are the same people from different parts of Meru elected those MCAs. So in their sane mind, they knew what they were doing, and that is the combination that they wanted. So if in Meru there are more than 800,000 votes, you can tell me 800,000 voters just elected one governor with different subsections. For you, I don't know, is it 14 or 24 MCAs in the county assembly to come and assume that whatever 800,000 people thought was wrong. No, it is not even logic in the first place. Yes.
How if you were Mwangaza now, how do you rule?
Can I tell you?
Yes.
The MCAs will still try their games.
They will still try to frustrate.
They will try to frustrate. But I can tell you what will happen, and that favors Mwangaza, is one thing. That Wajiko is getting to a point whereby she is not interested in the politics of the kings. She is interested on how you are going to provide services to me. One, are you going to develop our schools? Are you going to develop our markets? Are you going to develop our roads? These are some of the things that Wajiko is looking for. So Wajiko is actually getting, while they were celebrating, Wajiko was celebrating, or we can say Gasheli in Meru. Why Gasheli was celebrating is because of one thing, that they do not want these kind of things to continue, because they are losing as Gashelis in that county. And therefore, what is happening is going to happen. It will favor Mwangaza in a big deal.
Yes.
People will actually come and say, we are tired. In fact, the battle is going to switch. Yes. It is going to switch. From the Gasheli side, it is going to get to the MCAs. And they will be told, it is either you serve us, or we take you home.
Yes.
And that is where now Mwangaza is supposed really to make sure that she is not distracted in terms of serving the people.
Yes.
Because one of the things, and I really looked, and the other time we said, she was actually doing her own businesses in terms of developing the people. You are going and giving what you are giving to grow the county. And you see what was happening is that this whole thing, by the way, it is a pure politics from the national.
It emanates from the national government.
Yes. Actually, let me tell you, Do you know what, Fred?
If we read this from the national perspective,
yes.
Where do you see the president, the deputy president? Where is their support at?
And that's why I have said that it is national. Can I tell you?
Yes.
You know, Mwagaza has her own vote. And she is independent.
Yes.
So you cannot cow her down. She didn't get into position through all these parties.
Yes.
And therefore, it is not, the government is not sitting plenty because they did not get the position from Meru. It was actually gotten from someone who can be in any direction. You do bad things, she can actually tell you, I am not with you.
Yes.
So I can tell you the government, their best bet would be for another person from their party or from their coalition.
Don't you think it would have been easy for, if the government wasn't for her, then it would have been easy to get senators allied to the Kenya Kwanza, you know, voting her out.
But they were there. Yeah. By the way, do you know actually?
And that is where the politics comes.
Yes, that is where the politics was. Do you know the people who are actually trying to push it in another direction? It is not even the Azimio.
Yes.
It is actually the KK. They are the people who are actually trying. But can I tell you?
Trying to get her impeached.
Yeah, the force was actually more from the KK.
Yes.
The people actually who came out and actually they brought reasoning is actually the Azimio. And I can tell you, they are the people actually, and some of them, actually the senators, for the first time, I am very happy about the senators. Because, you see, like Azimio, former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga,
yes,
this is one issue. He did not even rally people on which direction to make. He actually allowed people to make their own decision. And that is where now you find, when you find this issue is actually getting to a point of reasoning, where people reason. I could see several Azimio people and saying this is not factual. It is not something that can stand. I could see some few KK people trying to say this one, even if we make a decision today, even if the governor is saved, even if it is really nothing.
Yes.
You could see the direction they were trying to take, but there was a lot of reasoning. Now, let me tell you, and you'll go and look at it, and you'll see this one. You see Moses Kuria?
Yes.
Moses Kuria.
I have a feeling he'll be the first CS sent home.
Yes, do you know Moses Kuria, do you know where is his camp in Meru? He is actually a Mwagaza Damu.
Oh, Moses Kuria.
Moses Kuria. I can tell you, go and look at it. Where is our deputy president? Where is he? It is actually at the last minute that these people started to see this thing can go any direction. They started to tone down. But I can tell you, the best bet, the government was not with Mwagaza.
Wow.
It wasn't.
That's interesting. We also had the State of the Nation address by the president. At a time when the country is going through some of the most challenging economic situation, and a point whereby we've even been told that there's a possibility that the cost of fuel might go to 300 shillings per litre. I mean, things are tightening, and we're being told now, brace. Things are about to get even tighter. What did you think of his speech yesterday?
Well, we respect President Ruto so much, and it is high time he and his executive members realize that the number of stupid and foolish Kenyans is increasingly decreasing. The number of stupid Kenyans is very minute nowadays. Most people are woken up, are upright and all that, sensible, political, and because you just can't lie to everyone while addressing the whole nation that is listening to you. And
what you're saying he lied?
Yes.
Which are the areas he lied?
I can tell you some of the things that this guy said that, that was like a lie. This, the gentleman, President William Samoei Ruto, strategically said that the top hustler fund borrower has received 4.5 million in 816 transactions. Let us do this basic mathematics, and we don't want to know how much, based on the fact that even him being as the Hustler 001, while launching the Hustler Fund, he got the topest and the highest, which was only 2,500 as a loan.
Yes.
Okay? But if you go and narrow down these numbers that he said, you'll find it that this one means basically, since last Hustler Fund was launched to yesterday, it is 343 days, exact days. So, basic math, that one means that this guy specifically was getting 5,514 shillings every day, 2.4 times in a day. So you want to tell me 0.4 times is what time that he was getting this amount, okay? And then if you go by that same analysis, the highest people, and we've had people complaining about the Hustler Fund and their rates and all that, and others are we even had presidents at some point saying that people are not paying the Hustler Fund. And at some point they were threatening of backing it off from whatever the purpose it was intended to. Then how is this numbers even? You know, that's I'm telling you, we have a president who is very courageous and is very confident, and if he had used that confidence in a truthful manner, we could be very so far as a country. I'm just being honest.
Well, I think there are quite a number of letting which has rated Kenya. And most of these organizations are reputable. They are not only doing the work for Kenya. There is one which is called Moody Letting.
Yes.
Actually, Moody Letting has been doing a bit of letting and looking at the positions of the countries. And recently I looked at their letting. And there is one thing, their letting uses what you find like, you see the traffic lights.
Yes.
There is actually the green, there is amber, and there is red.
Yes.
They did that letting, and one of the things that they pointed out is that Kenya has already left the amber position. It is actually hitting the red. You see hitting the red.
Yes.
When you see a country hitting the red, it is not in a good position. Let me say, one of the things that I had said, and I kept on saying, even before we voted in August, I said I would not want to be a president in 2022 onwards. Why? It is because when you look at those rating, Kenya was not going to be in a good position.
So was this rating before the election?
It was before, and actually even right now, it is still continuing. It is a continuous thing. And I can.
So we are still in the red.
Yes, we are actually. We've gotten. That's why when you find yesterday, the president has actually said that some of the partners, they have actually started now to want to talk to the Kenya. Because you see, there are some partners, when you go to red, what happens is that there are some partners who have been supporting you and who have been giving you even loans and all those things. They will say that Kenya is a risky ground. We cannot really move towards Kenya. So they are trying now to bring the confidence to these people, because at the end of the day, things are not easy. Why am I saying that? Is it true that our debt position is not good in this country? I think it is actually absolutely true. Where we are, what is the GDP for Kenya? It is actually, like we are talking about, if it is 14 point something trillion. And then we are talking about our debt position is actually at like now 10 trillion. Do you know what that is talking about? It is actually, we are like on 70% in terms of the GDP against the debt. This means actually in a country, by the way, which is the best benchmarking, if you are going to be safe in terms of the debt ratio against the GDP, you should be sitting around 50s.
At 50?
Yes, around 50.
And we are currently sitting
we
at 70.
We are actually at 70 something. It is actually a very bad position. And me, it is not really catching me as a surprise. I knew the president who would get actually into power
would have
in
a lot of
2022,
problems, yes.
whether it is Luto, whether it is Raila, I can tell you it was not going to be easy. The thing is, Wajiko wants to see, and because I sympathize with Wajiko right now, because Wajiko is actually in a deep, deep need. One is that for them to get even food to eat today is a problem.
True.
But it is not something that is a making for anyone right now.
It is not a making of the current state, the current government.
Can I tell you, like now the food position.
Yes.
For how many years didn't we get enough rain?
Yeah.
You know, it is not only in 2022 we didn't need. Actually, we have gotten the rain. The question that we need to ask ourselves, we are seeing flooding.
Yeah,
we were
what
told
are we
about
doing
what
with the
are
water?
we doing with this water. Those are the questions we need to be asking ourselves. But if you look, for almost like 5 years, we did not get enough rain. And this is actually affecting, even in terms of Kenya is agricultural country.
Yes.
What does that mean to Kenya? It is that in terms of the food reserves, that is one of the area that we needed in the previous government, and that was Ruto was actually in that government. So we cannot say that, yes, he was second. So also he has a responsibility.
Yes.
So that's where we talk in this program about politics and leadership.
So now that you touched a little bit on the food, he actually said, and that when it comes to one of the things that people went to the streets for, which was, unga and that kind of stuff, the prices have actually gone down.
On some brands.
It
is quite true.
Yes.
If you go to the supermarket, there are some brands which are actually at 145. There are some which are still at 230. So the thing is, there is a choice. Let's say, because it is also good to be speaking the truth.
Yes.
When he is saying about 145, it is true. Yesterday I don't go to the supermarket a lot of time, but I had to actually check so that when I come here, I will not say things which are not clear.
Yes.
And I know my wife goes to the supermarket every Monday.
Yes.
And I asked her, is what Luto, the president, is saying today correct? That there are some ungas which are at 145. And she told me they are there, but she told me they are there, but people buy differently. There are some people you find buying 230, there are others who buy the 170, and the others 145, depending on the person. That is your perception. So the thing is, things are moving, but they are not moving at the speed that people would want. And I can tell you, it is not an easy. Even if today another gentleman gets into that position,
it would still be difficult.
It is not going to be that easy.
Is there anything positive? Is there anything he said, Willis, that from, because you started off by saying this guy just lied. Is there anything he said that was actually true on the ground? Anything positive?
Yes. We always give the credits where it's due.
Yes.
And I can always give credits and testify that President Ruto is one of the best presidents Kenyans can have if he decides to be the one. According to
that's a positive statement that goes negative.
No. It's a very genuine. It is a very genuine statement that I'm giving.
It's like a boomerang. You throw it and then it comes back.
Yeah. So basically, whatever President said yesterday, there are some that are true, and it's also good that he's someone who is best. He has the best knowledge of what is happening in the ground. He's always been a grounds person and all that. And the only problem, or the only
is there anything positive? You see, you started and you went to the problem. I want to get what's the positive? Anything that he said that is actually, you can say, yeah.
Okay. Positivity from the Ruto side, based on the fact that he's a very eloquent and a very serious guy. It is only the fact that he's really trying so much to help this nation. He's really trying so much. And he has a very good idea and he has a very good heart for the country and all that. The policies that he's putting in place, maybe if he can change that a little bit, and the people around doing that job for him, or if he's the one doing it, if he can change the mindset a little bit, we are headed somewhere as a country. Yes, with that confidence for president, we are headed somewhere. Given the right direction and the right speed.
What other things stood out for you?
The things that stood up for me when the president was talking, I noted some of them down, is that, you know, he's someone who was, if you go by his history as a, before he came to limelight and the presidency, he's someone who has come from the very bare minimum of poverty. So he knows the goodness and the effectiveness and the fact that his policies on savings and social security, the fact that he's trying, in as much as Kenyans are trying to cry out, but we also need to be sensible a little bit. You cannot be expecting to save, let's say, 200 shillings the whole of your life, and then you expect the government to give you a soft life that you couldn't finance even yourself and you are working for it. So that aspect of embracing savings and embracing the rotation of the money in the economy, those are some of the positive things that we can say about
a saving culture.
A saving culture.
What about he talked about also this housing program that is, you know, kicked off, affordable housing, and says that, you know, he gave a number of the houses that are done and the level of employment that it's creating on the ground.
You see that the housing factor is something that, you know, there's always said that give credit so it's due. We can't wash away the Uhuru effect in the affordable housing factor in the culture, because it is something...
He had to bring up the big view in the conversation.
It is something that he bred and he really tried. It's only that he had the short time, or he realized late before he could finish his terms. But it is something that joined with his former boss. It is something that is going to help a nation. It is. We've seen what is happening in Singapore, the affordable housing factor, what is happening in South Africa, and the developed nations. These are some of the things that we need as a country to avoid some things. We know all the problems that are associated with the slums. We know all the issues and the crime activities that goes on there. If we can change the livelihood, if we can change the environment of those places and give people, respect them for whatever they are, and that is now the role of the government that it is coming, that they should embrace to work for the people. But with all this in mind, with all this in functions, with all this in place, you still find that there are some people who will just take advantage of this in the state of helping you. They bring in politics for their own benefit. And as I've always been saying, all politicians are in politics for the self-benefit interest, because politics is a game of interest. Yes.
What stood out for you?
One, I was quite happy about retiring some of the debts, because for me, if country is geared all the time by debts and not its own way of production, that is actually something that can take the country back very many years. So the fact that they want to retire some few debts.
When you say retire, meaning pay them off?
That is pay them off, yes. Pay them off, finish with some of the debts. If we can start actually by retiring and paying off some of these debts, that is something which is positive for Kenya. So one of the things that he is doing is that he has said, and it is true, some of us we have been living large in very many things. Because you see, large in the sense that how many white elephants is actually the projects which have actually been like halfway completed, or even some they started and they were abandoned. It is money which actually has been sunk there. And these are some of the things we have really to say, that we are not going to have white elephants projects. Projects which we are just doing, putting money, but there is no productivity in them. So when we actually say that we are going to stop living that large, is whereby we come and say, what is it that the people in Kenya want? Right now, if we look at the needs of the Kenyan people, and there is actually a hierarchy. This hierarchy, I know most of us we learned in school, but we might have forgotten. It is called Maslow, hierarchy of needs. This hierarchy is a triangle. And a triangle, it has its top, and it has actually the base. And do you know where at the base of this hierarchy, there is something that is there. There is food, there is clothing, there is housing, there is medical. This is actually the lowest that we actually talk in terms of the needs of an individual. And what we are saying is that we are going now, and that's the focus, that I think it is the right thing. Food is actually the basic.
Yes.
You must provide your people with food to eat.
Yes.
And at the prices that they can actually be able to afford. Because how would you lead hungry people?
Yeah, true.
It is very difficult. So some of the policies, actually, I would say, they are good things. In the sense that
they are targeted at what you're now talking about, the base
correct.
of the pyramid.
And do you know, actually, Wajiko is actually not on the second, the Wajiko herself.
Yes.
It is not actually, because the top is what we call the self-esteem. Is whereby you have your own private jets and many other things, you know, the self-actualizations and all that. Those are the things which are at the top. But when you look at the majority of the people, actually more than 90%, they are sitting on this base of this triangle. So the question that we are saying is, we must get now to cut off some few things which are taking the monies that can be used in this. If you find, like, one of the things in his statements, number 2, that was the debt. First was the debt. Number 2 is education.
Yeah.
Is it true that this time we have hired more teachers than ever before?
Yeah,
the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So in
I've even seen TSCs about to promote
yes, correct. Promotion and all these kind of things. So in terms of the education, what I would say is that it is a balancing effect. There are quite a number of issues which are affecting this country, but there is actually something they are trying to do. If they can tackle this space, the number 1 and the number 2, whereby we have medicals. Like now, they are talking about the universal health care. Yesterday, I was with a gentleman, and he told me he went and he paid 6,000 shillings to NHIF. His wife was in the hospital. Now, the bill that he had been given was for Kenya shillings 220,000.
Wow.
And he is a gentleman who is not earning a lot of money. In fact, his basic is very small. What did he do yesterday? And he came to my office. And he told me, look, what I did, I went and I paid 6,000 for a whole year. Do you know the approval he got? He got approval for 180,000, which is going to be paid off by NHIF. So he was left only with 40,000. He came to my office. At least he got something from my office also. I gave him something. But what are we saying is that the burden was very heavy, but it was reduced. So 40,000 is actually something you are saying now, this is a manageable figure. So what we are saying is there are some few things which are important, and that's why we need only to have a proper management of what the government is talking about. That when people pay for NHIF, let that money be used for the right purpose. And if we do that, what we'll find is that we'll be able now to deal with the issues at the bottom. Because many people are struggling at the bottom. And that's why I'm saying, at least there are some few things which I'm seeing in this government. If they can be serious and persistent and consistent about these things, I think we are likely. It is not going to be within some few months. But if we go progressively the way we are going, we would be able to be somewhere. So I would say, let's not bring politics all the time, but let's think about our people. What is it that is ailing our people? And we try to see.
One of the things he said is that he's basically laid a foundation for the takeoff. He made promises. He said he was going to do this, but yesterday he said, yesterday he said what he has done so far is just laying the foundation upon which now the rest will be based upon. Do you think that makes sense?
Partly and partly not. A country cannot be run on promises. We need facts and things that are working for the country.
How soon should these things be happening? Because I know I can say I'll turn Kenya into a forest.
Yes, it may take
but
time.
The tree will take a long time before it grows.
It may take time.
Yes.
It may take time, yes. But we don't need to mess up what is already there.
Yes.
For example, how will you feel? How will you feel like right now if your father asks you
Yes.
that for you to be my child,
Yes.
I'll need you to be paying me? That is what is happening.
That would be ridiculous.
I'll need you to be paying me for you to be my child, and I'm the one who's hired you. You see, that is the same thing that is asking when you ask a Kenyan to pay 1,000 for identification card. Yes. With the increased number of unemployability, you walk in the dark for some few minutes, you are smuggled everything, you lose everything, you are needed to pay 2,000 for that. If you are a Kenyan and you went abroad for your own growth and to develop the economy of your country, that you are seeing it's almost going shambolic.
Nobody. I'm yet to find somebody who went abroad to develop the economy of his country.
Can I give you a very a very logic and truthful scenario?
Yes.
The gentleman manning the the traffic.
Yes.
In Qatar. He's a Kenyan.
Yes.
And when he was asked why he's doing all the good in Dubai,
the one who manages
the traffic,
yes,
the traffic system in Dubai. If I remember his name, I'll mention it.
Yes.
And when he was asked why doing all this good work for there and living in his country, we are suffering in traffic. If you try using Thika Road in the morning, you may end up spending more than hours in traffic. And he said just one thing. It is an idea that he had tried bringing home, but the level of the political intolerance.
Yes.
You know, the people, the top politicians,
they want a piece of the cake.
They want a piece of the cake, and at the same time, they want to take it, they want to own it without knowing how to embrace it. Okay? Personally, there's a system that we developed for some political parties and during the campaigns and all that. We tried pitching the idea, it was so well, everything, it was actually going to help more than whatever helped them. But to find someone whom we tried pitching these ideas to, they wanted to own it and they failed on the execution. Because after you've thrown me out, how do you want me to
They took it from you.
Yes.
And tried to execute it.
Yes, and failed shambolically, terribly. You see? We've also seen and we've also had cases in courts and everywhere where you find someone in more powers above someone else. They'll always want to intimidate these people, more so if they're having a good thing.
Yes.
And these are the things that we are trying to make it be sensible to all of us.
Now, if because I can see time is flying.
Yes.
If you were to rate the president,
yes,
the last 1 year, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest,
yes,
where would you place him?
On what hemisphere of life? Political, economic?
Everything. As the president of Kenya.
Global.
Yes.
I'll give him
as the president of Kenya. Yes.
I'll rate him slightly above average. I'll give him a 6.
A 6.
Yes.
Okay. But
having the fact that he excelled in politics and balanced by economics and other values.
Pasi,
yes.
How would you rate the performance? How would you rate him?
I think I never expected really he's going to.
Actually, in my mind, I was seeing 2.
And that is the thing. So I am really, he has thrown me into a level of confusion.
In my mind, I just saw 2.
Because let me say,
yes,
generally, even before I let him,
yes,
I just give you 2 points.
Yes.
One is what we are calling the country where it is,
yes,
especially. Do you know in terms of the currency, the US dollars and all these kind of things?
Yeah, we're really doing badly.
We are really doing badly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know in terms of the fuel, which actually it is not his own problem, again 100%, but there are also some areas they can work on.
Yes.
We are doing too poorly.
Yes.
So even in terms of the production, it is a problem. So for me, it is not the president I will relate, but I will relate the Kenya. Kenya, right now, I would say it is sitting at 4.
The country is
sitting at 4.
Yes.
In terms of there is a lot that really needs to be done, and you know there can't be a country, Kenya, without the presidency, without the governors, without the cabinet and all these things.
Yes.
So I would say some of the things why I'm letting it below average is because the kind of suffering that we are seeing with the Kenyan people is really nothing to say that Kenya is near. But I am happy that there are some ways that we are still working slowly to bring that level a little bit near. But I would say, as a country, and that's where the president also sits, I wouldn't really say we are actually above average. We are still not sitting very pretty. And that's why you fight, you are touching this direction, unafunga. Unaenda hapa, things are not neat.
If they would subsidize the cost of fuel, do you think this would help jumpstart the economy?
That one, not even, let's even remove first of all the subsidy. The first thing I think they need to tackle, and it is actually a parliament issue, is they must be bold on the formula for calculating the fuel pricing. There is so many things which are there in that formula, and those things are not helping us. Like now, we talk about one of the percentages we have in that formula is Railway Development Fund.
Railway?
Yes. There are so there are so many things. Actually, if you look at that formula, they are like allowed as 21 levies which have been put which have been put in that formula. The first thing which I think they need to do, let them be bold in the parliament and let them relook at this formula, because I know there are some monies that they are getting. And you know, let me say, you know, like the Railway Development Fund and many other things, that is the money that people used to take advantage of. Because nobody actually used to follow that money, but it used not to go in the right purpose. So if they can do what they are doing, and they take like that Railway Development Fund, and they take it in subsidy, it would help a big deal. So let them relook at the formula and see in this formula, what is it that we can adjust? Because there are things which are not reality. If they removed that, you would find that the level of fuel may actually go a little bit down.
Actually, the level of fuel is was reduced 2 days ago worldwide. But at the same time, when the level of when the price of fuel is being reduced worldwide, your CS, your super energy CS, is telling you to be ready for 300 shilling per liter of fuel. You see, some things are just not adding up, and as a country, I would like us, this is a message that I'm giving to sober citizens and the patriots of this nation, is that we need to know what is beneficial for us. We need to work for what is for us. If the government is not working for us, let us do what is best for us. We are the government, outside the government.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, let us wake up. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'd ask the question, how would you rate the president? I was almost afraid you're talking about a revolution.
Yes, if it is calls for it, then so be it.
Okay, RNC visual. I'd ask the question, how would you would rate the president? And RNC says the president is going way beyond his head as far as aligning the Kenyan economy is concerned. First, his cabinet is incompetent. That's where he went wrong. At most, I'd give him a 2.5 over 10. That is RNC visuals. 2.5 over 10. Then I can see Kate Irene. Huyu jamaa amefanya life ikue hard kwetu vijana. And I don't know whether you've rated 0-0. I'm seeing 0-0. And then I see Njeri, you're saying his government is honestly a disappointment. Frustrating for Kenyans who voted for him. Then Mvumo organization, I wish we would understand that the president is just the face and there's just so little he can do, especially for someone who received an already drowning ship. All that we are experiencing are just but ripple effects of an economy that is already unstable. Then we have Terian Moiki, you say, we needed this conversation on a scale, you say it's 1 out of 10. I would give him, on a scale of 1 out of 10, I would give him 4. It's below the average of my expectation. Then we have Cynthia who says the general feeling in the public is that he's yet to meet expectation. It's a complaining, angry and hungry nation. Dennis, you say Prezo needs a little more time. Then we have Mecca, you say, or Mika, you say, amazing show. I stopped watching the State of the Nation when he said that his government has moved to issue-based leadership as opposed to all around politics during the previous government. Was made to wonder whether the president listens to the utterances of his deputy and most of the KK leaders under him, not forgetting that he was on the forefront of politicking during the previous government as a second in command. In short, there is little to be taken as positive. Onyala, you say, nice conversation. President Ruto himself gets an 8 out of 10, but the government gets a 3 out of 10. And just say, thinking loud. Then Alan, amazing show. So there you have it. That's what you're saying about rating the president after the State of the Nation address yesterday. This is a conversation that needs to go on. Remember, there's need for patience, but at the same time, there's need for vigilance. At the same time, I know the former president, the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, yesterday was saying, oh, people who are criticizing the demonstrations are now telling me to come out and speak. Yes, speak. Demonstrations destroy, but speak. Let
Raila rest. Let Raila rest.
Let him rest.
Let Raila rest.
Okay, good. from a young man from his party.
Raila rest.
Let him rest.
Let him rest. We can't always be bugging him with all the baggages and the burdens, and then when he needs you, are not there. No. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Let Raila rest.
Okay, with that, we got to bring down the curtains on the show. Thank you very much for your participation. Do have yourself a lovely morning. In a couple of hours or so, we're going to have Daughters of the Kingdom coming in. We're going to have a very interesting conversation. Look out for that. Do have yourself a lovely morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.